Hello, hello, and welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining from. Thanks for being here. With any luck, this will be a fun stream. I've got a couple of things on the agenda. So I'm on the road again, obviously, as you can tell. So a lot of new background, new camera. Oh, I forgot to turn on my light. Let's do that. Let's do that first. I was so busy setting up that I totally forgot. Looks a little better. The camera's decent even in the low light. But we've got some questions here. I've got a couple things I want to talk about today, so let's just jump in. Keep it moody. Yeah. Okay, I got a there's a whole bunch of stuff that happened this week. Let's start with that, because yeah, there were some interesting announcements, and also I published 2 videos this week, which I haven't done in a very long time. So yes, new videos. I first published a video with Tom Buck, and that was a really fun video. That was all about the what we want in the Yola Box, like what we want that device to do. This was, does this work? This should work. Yes. This entire YouTube live streaming studio in one box video which was just so much fun to film. It was really thankful to Tom for joining me on that. But that was basically talking about our experiences using the Yola Box and both what we like and what we want it to do in the future, what new features it could add or changes we want to make it like really a really solid device that we might even use in the studios. And it was fun. So the way that video worked, oh, thanks, Bailey. Yellowbox video was great. The way that video worked was I had been brainstorming that for a while, and then I realized that Tom would be a perfect person to do it with because his setup for live streaming is actually pretty different from mine. He only uses the ATEM really just as a switcher, not for running the whole production. Everything is going through software. And I've been brainstorming that. I wrote a quick little outline of it, and then I was like, you know what? I think it's just time to do this. And I wanted to get a video out last week. I've been trying to do a video every week. It's been hard once I've been on the road, but I was at the studio last week, had a couple of days. I was like, I should film this. I was like, I should get Tom to help with this. So I tweeted at him, and I was like, hey, let's hop on a call really quick on Zoom and see if we can and chat through this video idea that I think you'd be a great person to collab with this on. And we were on Zoom, and I was like, we could do this as like, we both go back and record video and send it to each other later, or we could just do it right now, and I can just get the video out. And he was like, sure, let me go turn on some lights. And the setup for that, I showed like a frame of it in the video. Let me see if I can find that frame. It was right at the beginning that I showed a little snapshot of what we were actually using when we were filming. Oh gosh, where did it go? I should have timestamped it. It's in the intro. There it is. This shot. So this is actually from a moment we were filming. You notice I'm wearing headphones. This is the giveaway. The headphones, because I left my AirPods at home because I wasn't actually planning on doing this that day. But you can see that I've actually got Tom's video feed in the ATEM because he was actually using his ATEM to stream to my streaming bridge. And that was my attempt at using my normal ISO recording workflow. And I was going to just edit from that in case either the recording that he was making locally didn't work or it would take too long to upload. Thankfully, he does have good internet, so it didn't take that long to upload afterwards. And but I thought it was neat, and then it also just looks good in this shot. But what we ended up doing was, obviously, I was not wearing headphones in the video that you saw, because what happened after we did that that recording session where we were having a conversation, I wasn't asking him questions, but then after that, I just re-recorded all my parts without wearing headphones. So I thought that was a little better in the end. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. And thanks for posting the link to that video, Bailey. All right, what? I'm just scrolling through the comments here. Yes. Was it recorded in real time? It looked like 2 feeds edited. It was 2 feeds edited. And the other part of that is that we're both like reasonably experienced with, creating these videos, and both were speaking as if we were recording videos. So it's much less of a like podcast style back and forth conversation. So every time I would ask him a question, he would like repeat the question in the answer, which is what you do when you're trying to like, make it so that that video stands alone. So that's also, I think, why it kind of had that vibe. Pat says that video showed how live your studio sounds, much different audio than Tom's. Yes, I agree. The audio difference was very notable. In that video, though, I was actually using not my normal setup, not my normal microphones. Everything, again, was moved around. So the microphone I was using was the little Deity microphone, which is actually on this camera right now, which it's a perfectly fine microphone, obviously not as nice as the one I normally use, and it also because I was like in front of a different wall and didn't have a lot of the furniture that's normally in there to absorb some of the sound, it definitely made it a little bit more live. So, yeah. That was the deal. Oh, hey, Rocky is here. Thanks for joining. Caught you live. Can't wait to see more of your 360 content. I've had a drone for years and lent it to my nephew and just got it back. Awesome. Yeah, okay, so. Yes, I agree. Sound bounce sucks. I'm gonna get things put back together in the next week or so in my studio. So hopefully I'll tune that a little bit better. And actually, speaking of the other video I did last week, the other video I did last week was in response to Blackmagic's ATEM SDI announcement, which did not see that coming at all in the slightest. And that was, I basically was scrambling to get that video out. So that was excellent freeze frame there. This video, notice that the angle here is like completely different than my normal studio shot, because this was my super temporary setup. So this was, I just set up a camera on the floor on a tripod, like totally temporary setup. I did use a different microphone for this one. So if you notice the audio difference in this one, it's because this one has the Audio Technica microphone. And that's the one that Lily has at the studio at home. And I got another version of it, like another copy of it for the studio, and I think I'm gonna switch to it for the studio because I really like how it sounds. Not as good of a mic as Tom's $2,000 microphone or whatever, but I think I'm okay with that. And but yeah, I'm trying out this new camera angle too. So the theory is I might set things up permanently to keep this angle. Curious if you like it better or worse than the gray background or a different angle. I thought it was nice to like frame that whole wall in the center. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Everything is in flux. The studio will get set up back up eventually. But yeah, the good color theory. Thanks. Yeah, I like the design of the room. I spent a lot of time on that, so I think I would want to, feature that better. So, okay. Adam says your Lav Mic sounds good. What is it? That is the DJI microphone connected into the camera I'm streaming with today, and it is pretty good. It is pretty good. Okay. Oh, thanks, Bailey, for digging up the links to the videos. Oh, Lily says, thanks for letting me use the studio. Hopefully at some point we'll be able to share the video that was recorded there, but it is for a client, so I can't say anything else about that, but eventually it will be public and you'll be able to see it. So I'll make sure I share that later once it comes out. That was great. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about the ATEM stuff, because I saw some good questions in here. And I saw a super chat from before we started, so let me start with that one, if I can find it here. Here it is, from Jonathan. And, oh no, we still don't get the text on the screen. Okay. The comment says, this is a Yellowbox bug. They're going to fix this soon. I will have to just make sure I tell them about this one. Actually, I'm going to take a picture of my screen so I don't forget. Okay. Jonathan says, regarding your video about the SDI ATEM and 4ME, are you going to use it to replace the 2020 Video Hub, and will it do essentially the same thing as the Video Hub does? Thanks for the super chat first, and the answer is sort of. So the 4ME ATEM has so many SDI outputs, and my plan is I'm going to use that in place of the Video Hub. Also, the Video Hub is still the loudest thing in that rack, even though I did replace the fans on it, so I would like to not have to use it. The biggest difference, which means this is not an option for some people, but it will be okay for me. The biggest difference between the two is the ATEM does not route audio on the outputs when you're switching to aux outputs. There's one audio bus in the ATEM, and whatever is your program mix audio goes out all the SDI ports all the time, and that means if you can't use it exactly the same as you can use a video hub, because the video hub SDI matrix is more like actually physically unplugging a cable and plugging into something else, and the audio does get routed along with the video signal. I don't use the audio in my SDI matrix, so it's not a problem for me. Like when I'm switching sources, because I run the audio from microphones externally, or if I haven't really been taking advantage of the fact that the audio is routed, so it's not going to be a problem for my workflow. I think. I'm pretty sure. I haven't actually set everything back up this way, obviously, so I could be wrong, but that's my theory. So yes, it is very likely going to replace everything. And then I'm going to probably get the 4 SDI ATEM to record 4 channels. So I realize that I don't actually record all 8 from the extreme that often. I don't actually use all 8 channels when I'm recording super often. And if I really need to at some point, I could always grab another, like one of the ATEM Mini Pro ISO with the 4 HDMIs if I really had to, or use a hyperdeck. So I think the 4 SDI is going to be the one that is permanently set up. That is my goal. That's my goal. And then probably turn off the video hub. And yes, Jonathan, I'm going to be using, for audio, I'm going to be using audio, grab the audio from the ATEM using the MADI digital interface so I can actually do multiple audio mixes totally separately from the ATEM. That is my goal. And yes, I agree with all of these comments about the need for some HDMI ports, because I think that it just makes it, it means you're always going to have to use a converter, basically. But yes, it does complement the Constellation as a recorder, which maybe that was part of the reason they went with that instead. Eric says, YoloBox Pro, no text on the screen, also happened in a super chat for Petra yesterday. Darn. Yeah. Okay. Did I get the 4ME yet? No, I did not. Still no delivery update, but I do have the 2ME on loan from DVE Store still, so that is what I'm going to set back up when I put the studio back together, now that we're done with the video shoot. So, okay. Oops. I tapped the wrong thing. This was in response to Bailey's. Maybe Blackmagic came out with the ATEM SDI because they over-ordered SDI ports. Yeah. Okay, there was a question here. How to bring DJI drones footage into live streaming? I haven't done that before because I don't have the drone that can do it. So some of the DJI controllers have an HDMI port, but only on the higher end models. The Mini 2 does not, and neither does the new controller for the Mini 3, unfortunately. I was really hoping the Mini 3 would have added that. It makes sense. It's not a high-end drone. So, yeah. So you can't do it over HDMI on the Mini 2, but if you get the more expensive drones, there is an HDMI port on the controller for that purpose. But the other way you can do it is you can live stream from it. So you can live stream from the DJI app to something directly. And obviously, you're not going to like run a whole live stream from a drone. That doesn't make a lot of sense. But you can push that feed into other devices that can receive the RTMP feed. So I have a video from a while ago now about doing that with a Raspberry Pi, which would work. There's also now the new Magewell RTMP decoder thing that now I forget the name. ProConvert, that's the name of it. And I've got that one in my studio, been using it for a while. There's an SDI and HDMI version. It also supports NDI, but you can also set it up as an RTMP server and push feeds from it. So I don't know if I'm ever going to have like an opportunity to do this, but I could at least just try it in the studio indoors. But streaming from the drone to that should work fine. Maybe when I'm back, I will actually try that. we will see. Okay, other questions about this. Oh, Lily says I might be doing Instagram live streams this week to try out a new toy. I mentioned that, and then I took it with me, so it's here. If you were following me on Instagram, then you will have seen that I did a live stream about 2 hours ago setting this live stream up. I was live on Instagram while I was setting up this whole desk, trying this out. And this is a new thing from YOLO Live. It is unreleased. This is the like early prototype that they sent me. But it is like a mini version of the Yolo Max. So yes, we will be doing more tests with that very soon, and I will do a video about it also as well. But yeah, do follow me on Instagram because I'm going to be doing more live stuff there in vertical mode, which is pretty fun. It is a shrink down Yolo Max. Yes, exactly. It's very cool. It's very cool. Okay. Trying to keep up with the chat here. There's a lot going on. Oh, here's a question I missed earlier. I don't know if I can find it in the YOLO chat because I have my other one up here on the computer. From Randy, does Blackmagic post the current firmware versions for the ATEM Minis somewhere? I noticed that my Extreme Pro ISO is a different version of my Mini Pro ISO. Not exactly. So the way it works is all of the ATEMs get the software updates from the same thing, which is you go to support, click on ATEM, download now 8.8. And if you, this is to add support for the new ATEM SDI, you can click in here to see if there's any other changes. So sometimes they'll say the general performance and stability updates, which is programmer speak for, we fixed some bugs that we didn't want to tell you about. Download this, that goes onto your computer, and then when you go into the ATEM setup program, it'll prompt you. I don't have an ATEM plugged in, but when you click on one in here, if the update applies to that device, it will prompt you to update it. It's very possible, however, that the particular update does not apply to the device, which is why you're seeing that some of your ATEMs don't have the update or are on different versions, because sometimes the sometimes the update like only affects one of the versions, one of the models. So that's the deal. Cool. Okay. Thanks, Adam, for following me on Instagram. Richie was watching on Instagram. Finally gave us more info on the Yola Max Jr. Yep. All right. I have my little graphics here so I don't forget about what to talk about. Oh yes, why am I here? What am I doing here in the first place? Let's talk about that. Also, new fun thing in this update is the Yellowbox has auto switching graphics now. So there's like a timer on it. Here, let me get this camera so I can show you how that works. So this is the Yola Box, and I've got these little graphics prepared. It's not a stable tripod. I've got these little graphics prepared, and they've got little countdown timers on them now. So I can tap on one, and it'll show it. There we go. And then it is counting down, so I can see how long it's going to be on the screen, which is pretty cool. I really like that feature, and now I don't have to like take it off the screen myself. So yes, what am I doing here? I'm here at the for the IETF conference, which is the same conference that I was in Vienna for. So they do that 3 times a year. The next one's in London, and it moves around all the time. So it's in different places, which is fun. Gives people a chance from different areas to go to one that might be easier for them to get to. And that is where the work on all of the internet protocols happens. So HTTP, TCP, DNS, OAuth, which is the one I'm involved in, a whole bunch of other stuff. So the whole bunch of groups there, and this week is full of sessions. They got so many requests for sessions that they only gave each group one session. Sometimes we get two, because the OAuth group always has tons of stuff going on. So the yeah, there's just stuff every day, and going to be lots of meetings. Where is it at the convention center? No, it's not that big. It is not big enough for the convention center. It is normally it's around, I think, like 1,200 people attend has been the historical normal size of it. That was not the case in the first in-person one, which was in Vienna. That was about 300. It was very small. This one, I just saw that the stats, they said that there's going to be about 600 people on site. So it's not huge by any means, but it is just packed full of sessions. I have I made a little web page showing my schedule in case anybody is here, so I can share with people when I meet them. Oh, am I presenting? Where did that go? There it is. Am I presenting? It's not really like, okay, yes and no. It is, during the session for the OAuth group, there are about, I think, 12 topics or so to cover in the 2 hours. I have a 15-minute slot to present the two documents I'm working on, OAuth 2.1 and the spec for single-page apps. And I have a 15-minute slot just essentially to give a status update. I think almost everybody's is going to be effectively that, because that's not enough time to actually go into any meaningful discussions. Sometimes these topics, these get like 30 minutes per topic, and then you can actually have a discussion about them. But then what's going to happen is there's a whole bunch of extra meetings that are scheduled that are not presentation, which are just time to discuss and actually have conversations about them. So this is the little page I put together. I load this onto a NFC sticker that I put on my name tag. People can tap it and then go to this webpage. But it's got the schedule of stuff I'm doing here. And we have all these meetings on the other days, 3 90-minute sessions to go into detail. So those aren't presentations. Those are going to be just like working sessions. Yeah, so all sorts of stuff going on. That is why I'm here. And I just got here early because the first thing is like first thing in the morning on Monday. So I can't come in on Monday because I can't get there in time. It takes a long time to get across the country, it turns out. Yeah, that's why I'm here. And it'll be fun. I'm going to have not a lot of time for doing anything other than work while I'm here. So work and dinners with work people. But today is not a work day, so I can do this live stream. Yes, but I want to talk about flying drones because it was fun. Oh, Emerald says, still need a fairly big hotel for that. It is, where did that go? Yeah, it's a good size event, but it's not convention center size. We're at the Sheraton downtown, so only a few blocks from Town Hall, City Hall, which is where I was flying around this morning. So yes, the flying drones in Philadelphia. So my new hobby is bringing the drone wherever I'm going because it's fun, and as long as I can fly there. So in the U.S. now, that is basically fair game anywhere because the only places you can't fly in the U.S. are like literally at an airport and the national parks, like wildlife reserves and stuff. But other than that, there's like, airspace that you have to keep in mind, but there's no like state level blocks first thing I do when I am going around somewhere is now I am going to search to find any local regulations about flying drones. And again, the US is all under the FAA, so the FAA rules apply all over the US. It's obviously different in other countries, and every country seems to do things slightly differently. So sometimes it's just, okay, I can't ever qualify under these rules. It would take too long to do whatever tests they have or whatever, but sometimes they're just like, cool, fly a drone as long as you're not stupid. The NYC is pretty restrictive. Casey Neistat got in trouble a few times. There's an app, it tells you okay if it's okay. Yeah. So the deal is, and this is something that actually the Pilot Institute, people who is the folks that I use all their test prep, this is something that they're actually working on actively, is trying to make sure that that cities and states aren't doing things that are out of their jurisdiction, which I think is really interesting. I confirmed this with them in their, it was like one of the Q&A on one of their lessons was talking about this. And because when I was looking at Portland has, if you go look at the city of Portland's website there's like a page for, about flying drones, and it says things like, you can't fly a drone in any city park. And then the state of Oregon has one too. State of Oregon has, the Metro Department has a page about where you can fly in Oregon, and they also say you can't fly on any Metro-owned property, which is a lot of parks and, weirdly, the river in Portland. And I was like, darn, okay, that means I can't fly basically anywhere in Portland. But then I was on this page on the Pilot Institute website, and they were like, yeah, like FAA rules apply everywhere. Cities can't make their own rules. So I was like, hey, here's some links to Portland and Oregon's docs. Like, is this the kind of thing you're talking about? And they were like, yeah, okay, we're going to go like add this to the list and start having a conversation with them, because they're not allowed to do that. What they obviously can do is they can say you can't land a drone on a park, or you can't operate a drone from inside of a park, because they can tell you what to do, what you can do on the land, but they can't tell you what you can fly over. So what you do is you go to the airspace charts, or there's an app that makes it a lot easier to read, now called Aloft. And I did not bring my phone's HDMI cable to share this, unfortunately. And for some reason, the hotel Wi-Fi is blocking AirPlay, so I can't even share it the really cool, hacky way of sharing it into my computer screen. So sorry in advance. But this is what it looks like in Philly. So notice I'm right on the edge of that yellow circle. So that's a heliport. But the blue one is the main airport. And there's this little carve out for this part of town, which is nice. And if you go over to Portland, there's like the Portland airport takes over almost the whole city, which is really annoying. But thankfully, you can still like get authorization up to 400 or 100 or 200 feet. So where was I going with this? In New York, your best bet is going to a rooftop and taking off from there. Yeah, okay, but that is the other exception here, is of course you can't necessarily take off or land on private property without the owner's permission. So a rooftop would be some property owner's property, so you have to make sure you have their permission to take off or land from it. But in terms of flying, like, it is airspace. It is FAA regulates what can happen there. So yeah, like there shouldn't be that much variation within, like, between states and different cities in the U.S. Because they don't own the airspace. So yes, and then yeah, the Europe is a whole different story, but yeah, there is a bunch of work being done in that regards, and it is getting simpler, thankfully. And Europe has at least now like a set of rules that apply by default, and then countries can go more specific than that if they want to. But I also still, in the meantime, because I don't necessarily want to be having conversations with law enforcement officers about whether I am allowed to fly, even if I am, still went to the, went and searched for Philadelphia's, any information that the city has on drone flying. And I found this, which seems to be the only, like, the canonical thing that they have, which is an article from 2018, which is definitely old, because a lot of things have changed since then, but I can't find anything newer about it than this page. And this page basically says, like, it's actually really nice that they wrote this. Basically what this page says is you have to follow the FAA rules to fly in Philadelphia, which, of course, that makes sense. And they repeat stuff in here, of course, which is good, but, like, the rules are FAA rules. And like, all these things are really just repeating FAA rules. The one exception was city can declare an outdoor event as a temporary no drone zone. That is also something that the FAA allows them to do. So it's going to be like basically any sports games in the stadium. You can't fly before and after the game, before, during, or after the game. But it's nice that, like, they don't pretend to try to have any additional rules about it, which is nice. So I was like, cool, that makes sense. Gonna go just read the maps and follow the rules. And then the other thing was I wanted to fly around this tower, which is downtown, a few blocks from the hotel. The statue on top, and so then I looked up the height of that, and City Hall, where did I find that? I looked up the height because I was like, okay, well, you know, the 400 feet above ground level is the default limit, and I wanted to know how tall the tower was. What is that tower called? I forgot the name of the dude. Somebody important to Philadelphia, William Penn. So, no. Am I just, what? Am I getting all the names wrong? I almost prepared this. For some reason, yeah, okay, it is William Penn. And why am I not finding the page that I was reading before? It's the Wikipedia page. Wikipedia page. William Penn, here we go. This page is what I found. This one says that there is, of course, some, you know, racist old person, so they're talking about removing it, but it's apparently a debate going on. 37 feet is the height of the statue itself, which is really tall, but now I can't remember where I found it. Somewhere else I found the height of the thing in total, which is 511. So 511 feet tall is obviously higher than 400. 400 is as high as you're allowed to fly a drone normally. However, the rules also say that you can't go over 400 feet unless you're within 400 feet of a structure, and then you can go 400 feet above that. So that means you actually can fly over that building, because you can go 400 feet above it, in fact, which is actually really tall, but I didn't need to go that high. So let me see if I can find the photo. I just tweeted it. The photo I took this morning There we go. This was from this morning. So you can see I'm about like at the statue's middle-ish. So that means I'm probably at about 500 feet here. But I'm still within 400 feet of the top of that building. So cool. That's, yep. Used to not be able to have a building taller than William Penn, then it was changed. The Comcast building is taller. Yeah, I was reading that in one of the things that was apparently like a city ordinance. That you couldn't build anything taller than this, which is pretty funny. Great shot, if only it had a bit more depth of field. So yeah, that was the photo, but I also have some video of it. And I should be able to show that. Keep in mind horizontal distance as well. Yeah, so like if you looked at where I was flying, I was not even over the road because I didn't want to deal with flying over cars, which you can only sort of do. You can only sort of do it. And I also got out what I was doing was staying essentially above the building. Like the building has a big like thing around it, and I was basically just staying right above it and on the sidewalk in front of the building. So I wasn't even over the street. But yeah, let's take a look. I have some other clips to share, and let me make sure that the music plays. I'll probably turn that music down a little bit. So I'll run this really quick. Here we go, local video. And you can see some of the other shots I got from yesterday. Yesterday I went and flew over the water, which is an easy one. And then this morning I was like, okay, when there's no people out, then I'll go back to City Hall and do that. So yeah, let's take a look. Yeah, so those were some clips, and the last one was a cheat. That was my DJI Pocket on the ground in time-lapse mode, but I like that thing too. Elevator to the top. Yep. Yep. Oh, this is a funny one. Emerald says I have a photo kite. It was a Kickstarter at some point. Basically, a drone on a tether was developed in Switzerland to get around the restrictions in urban areas. Yeah. So interestingly, if a aircraft is tethered, it is not technically flying, so it doesn't fall under FAA rules. So tethered balloons, tethered kites, a whole different set of things. So yeah, pretty clever. Clever way around that. Still dangerous, still can cause damage, and still can crash, but yes, it is not technically flying, which I think is if those take off, I have a feeling we may see some of the rules change, because most of the rules are actually very reasonable and are trying to just prevent accidents from happening and people from getting hurt. So yeah. Yeah, and more difficult to fly than a drone. Yes, I agree. Bailey, thanks for reminding us. Oh, where'd it go? 120 viewers, 24 likes. Time to get the likes up, people. Do give us a thumbs up. Okay. Oh my gosh. How are we doing on time? Because I want to make sure that I send people over to Lily's stream after we're done. Oh, good. Okay, 40 minutes. Time zone's different here, so I had to double check. Yes, thanks everybody for joining. Michael says, seems great, version 1.9. Yes, this is the Yolobox version 1.9. I just installed the update this morning, so this is what I'm using today. The so main camera computer is plugged into it. My other camera is plugged in down here. The video clip is here. I've got the picture-in-picture for switching over to that, and then also a USB camera, which I want to talk about in a second. Adam says you should fly over the Constitution Center. Oh, where do they go? There it is. I will have to look that up and see what I can do. I do have some more time here, so I will get some more chances to fly. And then we'll see them when I get back. Question, do all the Yolo boxes get the same firmware? No, not necessarily. So the Pro has been, I would say, the most frequently updated and gets most of the new features because it has the best processor. The YoloBox Mini obviously has a whole different, well, it only has one HDMI input, which means it doesn't have a whole chunk of the features that the Pro even could have. So the Mini it has a bunch of the features that are in the Pro, like the web overlay and some of the new titling and graphics stuff. The original YoloBox has not been updated in quite a long time until very recently. So if you look on the Yolo Live blog, there is down, where is it? Down here. From July 3rd, so that was finally an update to the original YoloBox hardware, and they say most of the new features in the past 4 versions were packed together and released here. So it now does, in fact, have most of the capabilities. Everything that they were able to do, with the main limit being the processor in it is not as good as the Pro. So yeah, super cool. They finally updated that, but it took a long time. So I know people were asking for that for quite a while. And yes, Bailey has a very, very good point. Oh, this is in response to something else. Let me go find that. Reminder to not update before a show unless I have time to make sure everything works properly. That is true in general. Absolutely true in general. But here's the original thing that was about. I downloaded a software update for my ATEM back in April. In the evening before a show, I was recording and had a bug where ISO recording just randomly stopped. That's bad. Yep, no good. Definitely test after updates, because sometimes updates introduce new bugs. That is always true. So, yep. ATEM question. Last Sunday, the ATEM Mini video froze on VMix after I updated the software for the ATEM and VMix, and this week, and the video keeps flickering and froze 2 times. Why do you think it's happening? So I'm guessing that's going over USB to VMix. That is weird. That is not good. Why would that be happening? Did anything else change? Like, for example, how are you using a different cable? Because I have definitely seen different cables cause problems. Otherwise, it could just be one of those things where it's a bug, and it's a new bug that was introduced in the update, which is not good, and you should tell Blackmagic about it. Oh, this is interesting. The 4G modem in my YoloBox Mini stopped working last week after a factory reset. Oh, that's weird. YoloLive were already aware of the issue and pushed a firmware update within hours. Wow, okay, yeah, they're very, very fast at fixing this stuff, which is great. Oh, and David has another good point. Check with VMix support, although it does sound like it's a ATEM issue if, oh, and same cable. So it does sound like it's an ATEM bug. I would talk to Blackmagic support and see if they have any ideas. make them sure they're aware of it, and maybe they'll be able to fix it in the future one. Cool. I don't know much about VMix though. I don't think I've ever used it. I may have downloaded a trial once. Scott says your feed is stuttering a bit from time to time, probably the hotel Wi-Fi. That's too bad. I didn't notice that, but hopefully it's at least audible consistently. Cool, okay. So, let me go back to my list. Oh yes, YoloBox Pro update. So yeah, I mentioned this briefly, but the YoloBox Pro just got the 1.9 update, which released a really cool new feature, which is the one that I tested out earlier, which is the remote guest feature. So I wanted to try this really quick, which is definitely pushing my luck being on the hotel Wi-Fi. But I did test a little bit earlier, and it seemed to work okay. So let me get this camera set up so you can see the Yola Box. This is very, very cool. So that's too far down. There's my Yola Box. Not a good tripod head. I need to just not bring this head ever again. It's also on top of the Insta360 selfie stick, so it's not stable. Okay, here we go. The new feature is this tab with the little two people, and you get this invite guests screen. So turn on allow participants to join. I think mute audio by default is a good plan. And then you go to this screen, and you can type in email addresses, or because it already knows your email, you're going to say send a link to me. And it'll send you an email. And if I go to my phone and check, yeah, there is the email. So I got a little email from Yolo Live saying click this link to join. And if I do that, my default browser is Chrome, so I have to open it in Safari because it requires Safari, which is fair. So paste that on my phone, and hopefully the Wi-Fi holds up for this. Yeah. Yolo Live wants to access the microphone and the camera. Good. Let's do that. I'll mute myself. I can turn my phone sideways, and it will work better. Join the event. And oh no. Turn my phone audio down. Also, why can't I turn the phone audio off? Apple needs to fix this. The audio is muted. The volume is down as far as it can go. But it won't get rid of that last little... Look at the volume control. I can't get it down past that. Lovely. So my phone is connected, and now if I go to the next page of video sources, there I am. So let's see if this... The audio is going to be out of sync when I show you this. But there we go. This... Here, I'll switch to the phone audio. That's annoying. I did test this before the stream, and it worked great. I swear. So okay, yep. No audio from the phone. Oh well, live demo fail. Okay, I'm back now. Bummer. I did try it. I did try before, but it, yeah. You know, I actually, if you were watching Instagram, I tested it on Instagram also, and it was working fine then. So I don't know what happened. Is it going to require a YoloCast subscription, or is it part of owning the Yellowbox? It has nothing to do with the YoloCast platform. It's just built into the Yellowbox. So I don't see any current indications that there's going to be a separate charge for it, but you don't have to make a new account or anything. It's just built into the YoloBox Pro, which is very cool. Too many people on the hotel Wi-Fi at this time of day is very possible because it was 3 hours ago that I tested it. But yes, you get the idea. Definitely needs better mobile Wi-Fi. I also tested it with my computer last night. I joined the link from my computer webcam, and it was great. It was solid. Tom says, love his channel with live experiences. No worries. Makes us think harder and have some interaction. But once I'm back home and actually like in the studio, I will do a proper demo of that because it is very cool. And as long as there's good internet, the feature works fantastic. So that last test was on my 5G. Oh man, I really want that to work. Oh well. Oh well. It shouldn't be Murphy's Law, it should be Aaron's Law. Yeah, the trying something live will always there will always be a problem. Oh, one other thing. Man, I wish the audio didn't do this. On the phone, you see the program out. Try again. So, oops, wrong camera. This one. So here is what I see on the phone, which is now going to be tunnel vision, because you see the program out, and you can actually see it's pretty fast, pretty real time. So now it's working. Let's do this one more time. Cut over to it's because I muted my phone. When I joined the link, I clicked the mute button. Still no? No, now I can see it. Okay. Good, good, good. So the mute button of death. Very delayed, up to 10 seconds. Oh, it shouldn't. That's weird. Okay, well, I'm on my 5G on my phone, so that's what's going on. Yeah, and I'm seeing the feed super laggy on here too. Oh well. And now it dropped. Oh, let's get out of that. Oh, gosh. So yeah, the when I joined from the browser, I clicked the mute button myself. It was my fault. Yeah. But cool, at least like it sort of worked. Yes, this is what I should have done. I should have brought my little travel router, which I did not bring on this trip, but I should have created my own Wi-Fi on the, I should have created my own Wi-Fi network here for my computer and phone so I could at least AirPlay myself. How many guests at one time? Ooh, good question. I don't actually know that because they like have they have. It says you can invite up to 5 people. I don't know if that means you get 5 people here, but that is what that suggests to me. Good question. Definitely lots of potential. I do think with a proper internet connection, it will work a lot better. When it drops, it goes automatically back to the last scene. I think I switched it myself because I disconnected the phone after. Yeah. Okay. Well, when I'm back at home, I will do that. Patrick says, do you need me to drop off the travel router that I won from you a couple months ago? Graham says, there are 121 watching now. Can't we all call in? I think that would be chaos if I did that. We'll test that out later. We'll test that out later when I'm back at the studio and actually have like control over the internet connection and things like that. So, what about using Speedify? That would help on the YoloBox side, but it wouldn't help on my phone's side. And I also don't think it actually bonds. I think it fails over. So it may not, like it'll try to use the fastest one, but it doesn't combine them into one, if I remember correctly. So I don't even know if that would help on the phone. If it won't work for a live demo, I worry it won't work on any live reliably. Well, if I had you know, better internet connection, we will do a proper test. I will prepare this next time. We will line up some other people to join and make sure they have good internet. Like anything with live stuff, you have to have a good internet connection. Otherwise, there's just no point. So, yeah. Yeah, I believe this is true. It's the hotel Wi-Fi / 5G. So I don't think it's a problem with the feature. Because again, I swear I tested it earlier last night and this morning and it was fine. Okay. David says, if your like button is transparent, please click to make it solid. Thanks, David. Yeah, I think most people would be joining from a decent connection. Also, like, you should just tell them to join from a decent connection because I don't know what you expect from a bad internet connection. Having a good internet connection rules out Australia. We have horrible Wi-Fi everywhere. There's a lot of latency going over the ocean hop that way too. So it could be a challenge. Could be a challenge. All right. Lily says, I need to hire David to do the promo stuff on my stream. Philly questions, which I don't know anything about, so we'll let you all chat about that in the chat. All right, what else did I want to cover here? Was there anything else on my list? Oh, there was a new feature in here that I also wanted to show. there is a new, where is it? Add video source, check this out. I'm going to make a new side-by-side layout, and I'm going to add it with, I'm going to go my face as one, and the computer as the other, and add a background image, which, there we go. So this was there before, and the way it worked before was you could shrink them a little bit if you wanted to like leave more space, although I think it makes sense to leave them big. But the new thing is if you drag this and you keep going, and you keep going to the left, check out what happens. The computer screen is staying the same size, same ratio, but my face is getting cropped, which means this is perfect for doing presentations because you can put the conference branding in the back, and then you frame a camera with the speaker on stage or on the podium in the middle, and then you can use it to crop, but their slides stay the same, stay the right ratio, so you're not cropping the slides. This, I don't think anything else has this feature. Also, notice how easy it is. Like, you can do this on SuperSource, which is what I do on the ATEM in the studio. I have a preset for it, but I can't just do it on the fly. So it's just so easy. You just drag it, and you're like, okay, I want it to look like that to make the screen nice and big. Click done, and then I'll actually show you what it looks like on the stream. So now I've got that view here, and I can just tap it, and now you see it. So yeah, super, super cool. It keeps the computer screen 16 by 9, or whatever is your B source. It keeps that 16 by 9, and it will crop here. You can do it on the fly using Mix Effect, but not directly easily on the ATEM. True, Mix Effect added a bunch of really good features to the ATEM, but yeah, it is certainly easier on the Yellowbox, which is the general theme of the Yellowbox. That is such a handy feature. I agree. Okay, back here. Oh, thank you, MT. I totally forgot about this other thing sitting in front of me. What about the USB webcam? So yeah, this little thing. This, I linked this down below. It's the J5 Create. It's like $100. I bought it in January. I haven't really used it, but I wanted to buy it for meetings. So I am going to hopefully get a chance to use it this week because I think the remote, I think the side meeting rooms that we have don't have the whole AV setup that the conference brought. So the conference runs a pretty extensive conferencing, like remote participation setup now. They do this in Vienna, and I'm actually really curious to see what changed between Vienna and now, but every room for the actual sessions has two screens, two projectors, one for the slides and one for remote video feeds, remote people's feeds. And if you join remotely, you'll show up on that secondary screen, which is really nice. And then there's two cameras in the room, one for the audience, one looking at the room, and one looking at the main presenter. And there's a whole team of people that runs like this setup in each room. It's a lot of gear goes on. It's a pretty extensive setup. I should actually like see if I can, maybe I can like track down who does that here, and actually like interview them, because I think it would be interesting to hear more about. They use Raspberry Pis for a bunch of stuff, because of course they do. Yeah, it's cool. So anyway, the side meeting rooms are not going to have that, is what I heard, is that they don't have staff running the tech for it. So my thought was I will bring a 360 camera, and hopefully we can at least have some remote people joining those side meetings too, because I know a bunch of people are going to be want to be part of those discussions but did not come. So I'm going to try it. But in the meantime, I have it plugged into the Yolo Box. Oh, Bailey, good question. Is there any reason you didn't use the same setup as last week with the ATEM and the iPad? I'm guessing mainly size and equipment required. I should probably like actually show this side by side at some point, but the setup that I have here is the Yola Box with one cable. This is a 1 foot cable that goes up to this camera. It is a longer cable, I think it's like 6 feet, that goes to the secondary camera. This one goes into my computer. It's just a USB-C to HDMI. And this is the webcam plugged in, which I don't normally have, and power, which is not that many cables. And in particular, this one is nice and short. And it all just gets put into this cage. This is the PK1 cage, of course. Holding the Yola Box, mounting the camera on top of it, putting this on a tripod, which I'm using just a little desk tripod today. Sometimes I have it on a full-on tripod. And what I want to show you sometime, which I'll have to do this in the studio, the number of cables that it would take to make this work with an ATEM is a lot more. And I would also have to have another mounting solution for the main camera. So that is also just like power bricks. So this is USB, which goes into a USB power brick. The ATEM has its own power supply. Like, you can't use a USB power supply with it. My theory is, yes, the ATEM would make this a lot more complex. And I want to actually see it side by side to show the difference of the Yolo Box kit compared to the ATEM kit. Okay, but back to the 360 camera. This is the J5 Create. It is linked below. So what I want to show is how weird this camera is. Let's take a look. So I have it plugged into the Yolo Box, and it thankfully does work with the Yolo Box, so I can just switch over to that feed. Let me just change the framing of this a little bit so I don't look up my nose. There we go. So this is, let me back that camera up a little bit. The camera is just sitting here, and it's got the lens like facing up, right? So it can see all the way around. Here's what it looks like. This is what the camera is sending to the Yolo Box. It's sending this split screen view. You've got the one side here and then the other side over there, right? So it can see all the way around. There, you can see my finger moving from one side to the other, right? So the idea is you put this in the middle of a room, and then it can see everybody around the tables. And the bottom of it is actually, it comes with this little heavy base, and there's a 1/4-inch screw. So I'm going to put it on the Insta360 selfie stick. So that's what this camera, like, there is no software you need to install because it's just a webcam. So that's why it works with the YoloBox, because it's just a webcam out. And if you plug it into Zoom or whatever, it'll be the same thing. But it also does other things. So check this out. There's one button on the top. There's a mute button over here, and then there's a mode button over here, and those are the only buttons on it. The mode button has all these different modes, so it just goes away. Like, you just tap it, and then it cycles through the modes. So here, I'll show you some of the other modes. This one is everything laid out all in one go. So now it's just a continuous all the way around. What is this camera? It's the J5 Create 360 webcam. It is linked below. So if you want just one, it's obviously smaller vertically, but if you just want one picture, you can do that instead. Or you can do this, which is a close-up of one side. I'll spin this around. close-up of one side, so it is sort of directional then, and then the skinny 360 version is on the top. It doesn't auto-track, so like, I know some other of the really expensive ones will like have microphone arrays where it's like, oh, we see that the person over here is talking, so we're gonna go and like recrop. But it's now directional here. Also, this camera's only $100, so what do you really expect? There is also split, so you can have it do front and back. So front and back. Oh, actually, it's a little bit off to the side. That's interesting. It's like here. It's like this, not quite like that. This is cool. And then there's also regular mode. So that is you rotate this part so that it is more horizontal, and then there's just a wide webcam. And then there's also the 120-degree wide version, so I'm going to look really distorted. Yeah, really big hands. But yeah, it's kind of cool. So I'll probably use it in this mode. I think this one works the best. And then go back up like that. Yeah. Does it need a lot of light? Probably. Like, you're seeing it in a hotel room, which is got some light, obviously, with, let's see, I can turn this off really quick. This is room light. This is the ambient light in the room. So I've got, like, obviously this light is on, and it's pretty dark in here, honestly, and it does an okay job, but if I turn this one on, it's better. So obviously this is 720p for the YoloBox. What is the max it can output resolution-wise? I don't actually know. Wait, is it obviously 720p for the YoloBox? I don't actually know that for sure, if the YoloBox supports 1080 webcams or not. Oh, wait. I did not know this. The black ring on the top of the webcam is touch sensitive and lets you pick the direction of the camera. What? How do you know this? Do you have this camera too? Okay, let's try this again. We're going to go back to this one. Oh my gosh. It is, in fact, touch sensitive. I had no idea. Talk about undiscoverable user interfaces. It doesn't look like a button. Look at this. It's just a black ring. It does not look like something you'd be able to touch. It's cool. So what does it do in the other mode then? When there's two. One of them changes. That's why it wasn't directly front and back. So I could point one side at something and then get the other side into, point at the light and then cut to this. This is cool. There's two lines. No, I don't see two lines. There's not. Look. It's just black. I only see one ring. Yeah. Touch it once for the first person again and touch it again for the second. What? Okay, let's try this again. Touch once for the first person. Wait a second. Okay, I'm just scrolling around for that one. Double tap. Wait, how does it know? It knows based on, you can change both, but it like, yeah, okay, so you double tap it, and then it goes into scrolling the other one. That's so weird. The red and green lines on the 360 feet are the directions of the camera. I don't see those. I don't see red and green lines. Are you seeing something that I'm not seeing? Taking a closer look. Let's see if I can get this other camera. That one looking at that. YoloBox, and then, yeah, you double tap and it changes the other one. That's so cool. Oh, I see it now that it's bigger. Okay. When it's being scrolled. I couldn't see it on the YoloBox when it was shrunk down like that. Yep. They show up when you're tapping it. Well, cool. We are just learning things together. When you touch it, the line shows. That's cool. Okay. Well, now we know. That is very cool. And I just saw Tom is here. Tom says, that is super cool. I agree. Tom, you missed the whole part where I talked about our video this week. So you'll have to scroll back and watch that later. But, yeah. Okay, now we've figured it out. That's super cool. That is super cool. Yeah, they show up when you touch the screen. And now that I have when I have it bigger, I can actually see the line. Otherwise, it's too small in the YoloBox. Well, that's my wallet taking a hit again. Yeah, it's kind of neat. It's kind of neat, right? Well, I'll let you know how it goes. Like, this is just, me playing around with it in a hotel room. So I will stick this on my Insta360 pole, put it in the middle of the meeting room this week, and report back on how well it actually did. So, do I have the anomaly stream queued up for the end of the show? I sure do. It is set this time. I did not forget. And let me find her. Let me find her thumbnail. Yeah. Live anti-capitalist investing. So this is about her new job, and it should be very interesting. Investing in things that are not necessarily as evil as Amazon. Lily is not live yet. I know. We're going to wait until 2:30, so then we'll send people over there. Crosswhite says you can download the software to your computer to control it from a distance. That is also a good point. And obviously I cannot do that when it's plugged into the Yola Box because it is controlled over USB. But if I was using it with a computer, which is normally what I would be doing, then yeah, it would be. You could use that app, and that way you don't have to reach over to control it. So I will give that a try also because I will obviously not want to run to the middle of the room to adjust the camera. Yep. Oh, K-Mike EM is here also, excited for Lily's live. I love how Amazoners are gold standard of evil now. I mean, it's pretty hard to find, yeah, unless you start talking about like pharmaceutical companies, but they're just very narrowly focused. Amazon is like broadly focused evil. So, oh, Bailey, thanks for dropping the link. So yeah, if you don't get automatically redirected at the end of this, then you can go to that link in the chat. Good question. Has a 360 camera got an audio in line or mic? No, it does not. So for the audio for the room, it does have a microphone in it. Like it's got built-in mic. I can see the little lines on both sides for the mic, so it should hopefully pick up, or maybe it's maybe on the bottom. That's what that is. So it should pick up a wide range. We'll see how well the built-in mic does. Otherwise, I will just use like the computer's built-in microphones, or maybe I'll use these also. We will see. And now Amazon is getting into healthcare. Yeah, interesting. So Amazon is there only to pay for your more yachts for Jeff. Yeah. Not sure which is better, narrow evil or widely directed evil. I don't know either. Okay, you'll have to do some tests too, and let me know. Let me know how it works for you. It was $100, so it's like I was like, I'll just get it and see how this works. Oh yes, Lily is reminding me. This is a great point. Live related. I'm trying out StreamYard for the first time, but with my camera routed through the ATEM Mini. So this was this is I think the first, maybe the second time Lily has had a remote guest on her show, and I'm obviously not there to help run it. And I was like, what is the easiest way that I can just like, because we don't have a lot of time, I was only home for a day and a half. What's the easiest way for her to do a stream with a remote guest? And I was debating like setting up a Video Ninja link on an Amazon Fire TV, but I still haven't actually tried that myself. And that's still more risk of configuration stuff going wrong. So the solution was, let's just use the ATEM as a webcam, because her computer is plugged into the ATEM over a USB, just like a webcam. Her camera is already plugged into the ATEM, so it didn't have to touch any of the setup. Just had to grab a USB cable for it, and then use StreamYard for the actual show. So that is what she'll be using. Is the guest will be joining via a StreamYard link, and then it's just as easy as running a show in StreamYard, which is great. So yeah, StreamYard, like, the auto layout stuff, which honestly, a lot of that stuff is now going to be coming into the Yola Box. So hopefully the Yola Box can very soon be the easiest remote guest setup. But I have it here, so she couldn't even use that. And yeah, so you'll see the split screen view side by side. I don't know if she's going to use the full side by side or the cropped in one, or the not cropped in, the full 16:9 or the upscaled side by side. And of course, it's using her normal camera, so she'll have the same setup. She'll look the same on her live stream compared to like being in StreamYard, so it's not like a different camera, right? So I think it makes a lot of sense. And then, of course, because it is still an ATEM and she still has the Stream Deck buttons, if she full screens herself, like when the guest isn't live yet, she'll be full screen and she can still do any of the graphics that are built into the ATEM still. So if she wants to do that, that's still an option. But yeah, like she says, it took 10 minutes to put all the brand stuff in there, which is very cool. So very easy to just upload your background image, upload video clips even. So like we have the little video clips from the donut and stuff. Oh yes, the one downside, didn't want to pay for the highest tier StreamYard. So the stream is downscaled to 720. So the ATEM is obviously 1080 webcam into the computer, but then StreamYard publishes the stream at 720 instead of 1080, which is the only downside. Excellent StreamYard. They do a very good job. It is very easy to use, and if you're doing stuff with remote guests, I still think it's the easiest thing. We will see how the Yellowbox stacks up against that, though, very soon, once I can actually get back to the studio on better internet. We'll see. Oh, no, so she is paying for the middle tier, like not the free. So she's paying StreamYard. So you get the branding and you can remove the watermark, but unless you pay for the highest price, you are limited to 720. Do they have a trial version? I don't sign up for the free trials if you have to give payment details, then I forget to cancel and get charged. Yeah. I can't tell if they have a free trial. I sent her a referral link, and then it didn't give her a free trial option. I think they may have a free trial option, but I don't know if it requires that you actually put in the card. I would assume it does. Mother Bee is here. Thanks for your help. It now works. Awesome. Mother Bee just finished getting the remote kit for the travel box, streaming into her main studio. So glad that that is working now. Networking stuff. Networking problems. Bailey says, how many ATEMs do you currently have in your between your studio and your house? I'm guessing at least 5. I have there's one ATEM Mini Extreme that lives at home. That's the one that is on the desk for Lily's setup. That's the only one that's at home. And then I have the ATEM Extreme for the studio. I still have the Pro ISO, and then I have 2 original minis. There's 5. Yep. And I'm going to find new uses for all these once I reconfigure everything, although I may sell one of the Extremes. Because, yeah, I don't know. All right. Yeah, networking is just, it's a whole lot of stuff to learn. It really is. All right, I think we're just about at time. Let's see, I think Lily's stream is probably up. Is that the case? Yes, it is up on the countdown timer. So we are going to send, oh, when the 4Me arrives, it'll be 6. Why? Because I didn't count my TV Studio HD, so yeah. Oh yeah, need the purple cage for the Yolo Pro. That's what I forgot to do. I was supposed to ask people what their colors they want for the Yellowbox. I did not have time to make all the graphics for that I needed. We will come back to that next week when I'm in the studio, which was a better time to do that anyway. All right, yeah, gonna send you over to Lily's stream now. So thanks everybody for joining. Oh, I forgot to put my outro music in here. Anyway, thanks everybody for joining. Follow me on Instagram if you aren't already, because I will be doing more live streams on that. And see you next week. Back in the studio. Hopefully I'll have a day to set things back up again. We'll see what happens. And see you over on Lily's stream, and wish her luck and hope everything goes well on that end as well. Bye.